Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. Today I'm going to do another chibi drawing. I'm going to do a present for my friend who has also commissioned me many times for chibis. She actually started one of the most popular non-fan art lines of chibis that I have. But I found out today that her dog died last week, and she described him as her companion for 14 years, and I lost my dog of the same sort of length of time last year. So I know how horrible it is to lose your friend, so I decided that since she likes the chibi drawings I do, she's actually paid me for them, so she must like them, so I thought that maybe she would appreciate a memorial drawing of her doggy. So I've got a reference image up of him. His name is Samson. I'm calling him an all-American dog because that's what Westminster Kennel Club calls mixed breed dogs, which is, yeah, he doesn't look like anything specific, which is the same as my dog too. They actually have a lot of similar, just their tail, the ears, actually kind of a lot the same, the way the body is. Only this dog is black and white, and my dog was red and white. So I'm going to draw a little chibi of Samson here. So I'm going to start with his head. Chibis have huge heads, whether they're animals or humans. And I'm starting with my new favorite 3H pencil. I've been using it for a while now. It's super good for sketching a drawing that you're going to ink and then erase away. So his head is here. Make a little space for his muzzle. And then his body is kind of a chubby doggy. That's what my dog was too, until his joints started getting bad and I started taking extra care to make sure he lost weight. And I've had to do that for all my pets. I just can't let them. Growing up, my family always just free fed, fill up their dish and whatever they eat. Turns out they're just like humans and they don't know when to stop eating. If there's tons of food out, they're gonna eat it all, just like us. And so, just like with myself, and I track all my food to make sure I'm not eating too much, I make sure that all my pets are not eating too much. But before I started doing that, all of my pets were little chubs like this guy. Let's see. He's not terribly fat. He's just chubby. Let's see. Look at his tail. His tail has quite a curl. Not like my Shiba Inu's tail, but still much curlier than my dog who I lost last year. It's got pretty long fur too, so since it's a chibi, I'm gonna exaggerate that because that makes it extra cute. His other foot comes out kind of at an angle in this picture. And his other back foot is visible back here. Where's my eraser? I can actually zip up this pencil case now since I moved all of my charcoal sketching stuff to my new Art Snacks pencil case. So that's nice. I like this pencil case because it keeps me from bringing too much stuff when I'm out, like on the go. But since I was putting in two different styles of drawing, the tools for two different styles of drawing, it was too big. I wasn't able to zip it anymore. This is my Mono Zero square shaped eraser. It's the super best. Well, it's just as good as the Mono Zero circle eraser, which is like half the width. I love these erasers because you can click them, push them back in, you can replace. It's exactly like a mechanical pencil, only it's a mechanical eraser. Alright, so I've got this. This body looks pretty good, I think. Maybe this back leg, I'll make it a little bit thinner. Because I like my chibi limbs to taper. So they get smaller as they get farther out from the main trunk of the body. Okay, now let's go to the head. Actually kind of hard to tell what these ears are like. Hopefully I'll draw them well enough to be recognizable. Because the way this dog's spots are, in this photo it's really camouflaging what his ears look like. Okay, I gotta bring this fold down. Yeah, just based on the picture that my friend posted, this dog has a lot in common with the appearance of my dog. Like, he's got all this extra floppy skin around his head and neck. And that's just how my dog was. I erase these guidelines now so that they don't confuse me. Okay, I think I need to work with this a little bit more. I think the back of the head is coming too far back. It is a chibi, so I do want it to have a huge head, but I still want it to look like who I'm trying to draw. Yeah, I think maybe I need to make the whole head smaller. It's just sticking out a little too far. For my chibis, they need to not even really have a neck. That's the way I like to draw them. Their head is so big that there's not really a neck. But I had the head sticking out so far on this guy that it was not looking like that. See, he does have a collar on, but I think I'm just not going to draw the collar. So his fur wouldn't quite be doing what it is in this picture. Because right now the collar is separating his fur right there. Still not happy with it. Maybe if I move the head, back of the head further back. Oh, now we're getting somewhere. Okay. I'm liking this more. Now I want to bring the top of the head up. I'm going to bring the bridge of the nose back more. And it goes straight up for his eye here. Sort of an angle for his forehead. And then the very top of his head is quite round. There, that's more like it. That's more like him. So he's got his back ear is visible, like it's raised up. And his front ear, this is where it's hard for me to tell what kind of ears he has. I'm gonna go look and see. She posted a bunch of pictures of him. So, I'm going to look at her post again. Come on, internet, you can do it. Yeah, it looks like they're kind of triangle, pointy, floppy, obviously floppy, but okay. I think I've got an idea. Oh, let me get back to my reference picture. See, as a chibi, I want his eyes to be bigger. Bigger than that. Let's get his nose. He's got a really floppy mouth, just like my dog did. Okay, let's get this. Where his lip comes, there's a jawline is visible. I think that's good for or maybe I should shorten the proportions of his muzzle a bit, even though I just finished drawing it all. For the chibi effect, I think I want to bring his muzzle in. Let's draw that again. Comes in at an angle. I'll erase this a little bit too. Oh yeah, this is going to be much better as a chibi. So drawing his nose again. I'm trying to get the way his lips are turning. I don't just want to draw a generic dog mouth. I want to make it really look like this dog. Okay, yeah, that's a lot better as a chibi. To bring that muzzle in, let's bring the eyebrow in as well. The back eyebrow. Yep, like drawing these eyebrows like this is so familiar to me because it's really similar to my dog, who I drew many times. So he napped a lot, so he was a perfect subject for sketching. Okay, I think I will ink this first, and then I will draw on the black spots. So, I'll start with if I can find it, graphic 1. I'll just do the outline with this. So it's a really nice big outline. Such is how I like to do things. And I'm going to do little non-connected lines to try and give it a furry feel wherever the fur is clearly visible. So like here on the tail, there's like lots of long fur. But this is only for the outline. It's got a fuzzy belly. Okay, so I'll keep this nearby because I'll probably want it for filling in later. Now, yeah, maybe the 3. I think the 3 is one of my favorite sizes to use. What I'm going to do here is make this line that's coming from the outside of the head, so it's that thicker line because it's the outline. But I still want it to I want to make this outline look like it goes with the rest. So tapering from this thicker line to the thinner 3 size. Just in areas where I need to do that. So there's like the legs here. Do the same thing. So it's not just an abrupt change from big to small. And all the lines to look like they go together. Oh, that's good. For now, I can erase. I'm going to give it a chance to dry so that I don't smear the ink when I erase. And I'll erase this outside part first, just in case I smeared any graphite. And that also gives it an extra chance for the ink to dry. Gotta be careful. Okay, now I think it's safe to erase the main drawing. Done with this eraser, but now I'm going to use this little one, this little eraser, to get any areas where I missed. Okay. Now, looking at his spots, and I'm wondering how much I should do, or if I should do any at all with ink, or if I should just do the spots with marker. Because especially on his back, there's light hitting his back, so it's not black, even though by down here where it's more shaded, it's black. Well, I think I will just at least do on a smaller pen after all, 5. There's some areas I do want to do in black, like around his eye. outside of his nose. Super dark area, so. And the inside of his mouth, which is so in shadow that it's just completely black. Okay, I think I'll wait to do any more. I do want to come back and do these. So he's got big, huge spots, like big patches of color, but then he's got tons of little like peppery spots all over him. So I'll use ink to do those, but I'll do them after I do the bigger patches so that I can judge where those little spots should go in between the big spaces. I want to look at those pictures again. I should have just kept the page open so I go to my history. I want to see what color his eyes are. So the reference I'm using is a nice full body picture, but it doesn't really show his eyes, they're just in shadow. Okay, this is a nice picture of his face. And they are brown. It's what I suspected, but I've gotten eye color wrong before. And since this is a memorial drawing, I want to make sure to get it right. So I'm gonna start. Should I start with the eye color? No, I'm gonna start with the lightest color. So he's got white and black fur, so I need some grays to do, just add some shadow to the white areas of fur. Looking at this picture, could do, I think I might do neutral gray. I'm gonna go see what I think. Okay, I'm gonna start with a few shades of neutral gray. I started with neutral 1. The lightest is actually neutral 0, but I find you can't even tell once it's dried that you've put it on the page, so I've been skipping those colors, those zeros in the gray section. So this is gonna look, although it seems like on the camera you still can't even see it, but the marker always makes the page look darker when you first apply it because the paper is now wet. So, you know, when you get paper wet, it looks gray. So that's like adding to the color. So once it finally dries, it's always much lighter. So on the head, I think I need to go to the big end of my marker, because on the forehead and the nose, there's just the brightest area of this entire dog is right here, and all the rest is, except for maybe a couple areas like the tail and right here on the front of the neck. It's all pretty shaded. So I need to go to the big end in order to shade this whole big area evenly without getting too much stripiness, the way that markers do if you take too long to fill in an area. So because of that, I should probably just go ahead and fill in the rest of the body too. Okay, I'm going to move on to my next darker shade. Neutral 3 and 3. I'm going to start back here where it's more dry, so I can be sure to add where it's needed. There's a benefit to drawing in your next color while the first color is still wet, and that's that you get better blending of the two colors. But the downside is if it's still wet, you can't be sure how dark this color is going to end up. So you might think, oh, I don't need any shadow right here because it's pretty dark. And then it dries and you're like, ah, I have to go do it after all. It's actually kind of hard to tell in some areas how the white should be shaded because the black being right next to it makes the shadows hard to see. Doing these jagged lines, doing this shading so that it gives it the texture of being fur. So it's doing two jobs at once. Filling in the shadows and also adding texture. So I'm also going to add some of this gray color, not for shadow, but for this part on his nose where it's darker because of his whiskers. All dogs seem to have this, where it's just dark. The fur is just dark right around the nose here, between the nose and the mouth. So I'm going to color in the nose too, because this needs to be super dark, but there's some shining areas that I want to leave, but I don't want them to be perfectly white. I'll probably add on a dot of white ink at the end for emphasis, but let's see. There was something I wanted to draw in a pupil here, because although I can't see it on the reference photo I'm looking at, he's definitely going to have one when his eyes are this big. Actually looks like he's looking down a little further than that, so. Okay, now for my darkest color. Really not too many areas on the white fur that I'll add it. Right here where the tail and the legs come together. Right here is pretty dark. Some of these are pretty dark. These folds in his head skin. Maybe right here. And along his jaw is pretty dark too. This is still kind of wet. That's okay. It's mostly dry. Okay, I'm gonna do this with spots now. So even though I can't technically see it, I know that it's always textured. It's part of the dog. It's just how dogs are. So let's add a little bit more and start creating that highlight. It's the same thing as with this lips here. There's a nice shine on the front. And this part is pink. So that's why I'm not doing anything there. Okay. I think that's good for the white fur. So I'm done with these neutral grays. At least these three. I'm going to use the same gray to do the black spots. But as far as from lightest to darkest, the next colors will be the pink for this inside of his lip, and maybe a couple browns for his eye. I'll be right back. Okay, I got a few options, but I want to test them first so I can decide which I like. I got 2 pinks. And then while those dry, test the browns. I'm actually not liking either of these pinks. I need something in between these two. Yeah, maybe I like this one better. I'm going to let that dry. I think these are fine for the eye color, so I'm going to go ahead. I'll probably only use the lightest and the darkest one, though. This is such a small space, there's not really any reason to try to cram 3 different colors into it. If I do that, they'll all bleed into each other and won't be able to tell the difference anyway. I want to be able to show the difference between the light and the dark colors. And I'm just tapping the marker on the page because I don't want to accidentally smear this ink. That turned out really good, I think. I'll just put a little highlight in it at the end. I think this pink is going to be good. This little flap. This is also just like my dog. They look really different from one another, and yet they have these floppy lips, floppy ears, this curled tail. Let's see. I think that's good for this stuff. Now, I need to move on to the dark ones, but I'm looking at his head. I think I need to add a little bit more light gray right here, where the head is turning to the back. So I'm going to get a lighter gray, and then I'm also going to get the darker neutral grays to do his black spots. As usual, I'm going to start with the lighter color. There, yeah, that's a lot better. And also in between his eyebrows, there's some shadow there. I'll bring it all the way down. And even there's actually a little bit more here than what I've done. There, I think that's better. And a little bit more right here. Okay. Now I've got N6 and 8 and N10. 10 is the absolute darkest of a gray. And I don't usually find I need to go beyond that to a black, because it's just so dark that the contrast is so high that it doesn't matter if it's not a true black. And because of that, I rarely use my black markers. So let's start with the 6 we're going to use it to outline and fill in all the spots. Try and get this one. See, it goes all the way back to here, comes out. Okay, now I've got one right here. It's about halfway across. Let's just draw this little one here. I'm going to try and get the ratios correct. So we've got this sort of saddle spot, at least on one side. Looks like that. Comes out, comes all the way down to the elbow down here, and actually comes forward on his body. Comes straight down here, and even a little further down onto his belly. There. Let's fill this in. These two actually touch. And he's got a little black spot right here. Little enough to, it's little but it's big enough to use a marker and not pen. And he's got a couple that are just like that. Same deal. Little but big enough for the marker. His nose. And the next spots are on his ear. And this part is kind of hard to see, so hopefully I get it right. So there's one across the top of his ear. And then the edge of his ear here. Yeah, this part's really hard to tell what is his head and what is his ears, but hopefully the overall effect makes him recognizable. That's what really matters. And then there's a little cluster of spots on the back half of his ear, going up the top, down the side. Okay, I think that's it for actually putting the spots on. Now I'm going to use this marker to add some more shadow to the nose and the lip. Okay, next color, neutral 8. So, his spots are actually quite dark on his whole body. I'm going to end up filling them almost all the way in with these darker colors. It's just barely towards the top of his back that you can see the difference. The difference in shade. And there are just kitty hairs everywhere today. His fur is actually going this way, so I'm going to start doing my strokes in this direction. Okay. This one is actually all in shadow because of the folds of his head. These ones are mostly in shadow, but there's the littler spots are lighter, and maybe that's because they're more mixed in with white fur. These ones are pretty dark, even though they're right there on the front of his face, where the light's hitting it. Let's get its lips some more. Okay, now we'll see, after applying this neutral 10, if I need to go get the black marker. What's nice about using markers to do the spots too, instead of outlining them and then filling them in, it makes it seem a little more like reality, because spots aren't outlined, it's just that the fur suddenly becomes white fur, so at the edges it's mixed. You know, at the very edges it's a little mixed, so it's a soft edge, and so you can get that by using darker and darker colors, and then the edges end up looking soft, just like they would if it was made up of fur instead of marker pigment. Now just to do, this really is so dark though, these little spots right here. Let's see, I'm gonna get this nose, nice dark on the nose. There. Okay, what do I think? The contrast is really good on the camera, but I actually think this is one time where I really do want to use a black marker. In the reference photo I'm looking at, it's just it's so dark. So at least down here where it would be the absolute darkest, because it's turning under his belly, we're back here on the back of his thigh. I want to make it super dark. I'm just going to use the regular black. There's actually two different kinds of black, but I do not remember what the difference is. I have them marked in my little marker, what is it? It's a book where you put swatches. But that is packed right now, so I can't look at it. And it's probably not a big enough difference that it really is going to matter in this case anyway, so just use regular black, which is labeled as 100 among the Copic line of markers. I'm going to put a little bit on his nose too. I like that because you can actually see, well, you can't see on the camera, but when you look at this in person, you can see these strokes, even on the super dark gray. I think that's good. Now, I wanted to use, I should use this graphic one to add all these other little spots that are too small to really be made by the markers. And instead of just doing actual dots on the page, I'm going to do hatching if it's a large enough spot, because these are so small that they actually look gray in comparison to the rest. So by doing hatching, I won't be making them too dark. This one's really dark though, so let's see. What else? Maybe something right here. Not sure if that's shadow or a spot, so either way. And right here. Just moving down his body. So he's actually going to lose a few spots from this point to this point because this has been so squished in order to make him a chibi. Make him into a chibi. But I'm still going to try to do his spots as accurately as possible. Because if you're just drawing a random dog, sure, you know, and it doesn't matter, and it's just because you want to draw a dog, but this was somebody's dog, and they will know his spots. It's got a nice big one here on his leg, but since it's a chibi leg, it's so tiny. And this is another area where I'm gonna have to lose a few spots for the sake of the chibiness. There's a couple on his back legs, and there's ever so slightly spots you can see in his tail. Maybe another one there. There, I think that's good for the spots. Just making sure. Yeah, his face is mostly white. There's not too many. There's those couple big ones. He's here. Yeah, I think that's good. Well, maybe what I'll do is a little bit of this gray on top of them. So the ones on the face, since the chibi head is so big, even though in reality these spots should be about the same size as these, but chibi head is much bigger, so I'm going to put a little emphasis on these by adding some more marker to them. Okay, now he's getting real close to done. Ouch, I hit my knuckle, my thumb knuckle. What I need to do next is, let's see, I'm wondering if I should add any attaching to him. I think he looks good as is. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna move on to a few little details with white gel pen. Now, thinking if I should do, actually something else I do want to do. Not because I can see it, because I can't, the picture's too far away, but again because I had a dog that was so similar. I know there's little black spots here for where the whiskers grow out. So I want to add that in there. Okay. Now, I think I'll put it right here, small. Okay, I'll use this. I was thinking whether I should use the medium or small gel pen. But I'm going to use this small one, which is my it's my first art supply purchase I've made in a long time, actually. Because with art snacks, I get so much stuff that I don't usually have to buy, I don't have to buy pencils and stuff anymore. But I really needed this specific size of gel pen, and I never had one before. Okay, and then I can't actually see this, but based on where the light seems to be coming from, I'm going to give him a little highlight in his eye. The chibis don't really come to life until you add that little highlight. And let's add a little bonus one on the bottom here. Maybe on his back. I'll just do a few little lines. Oh, I've got to clean this off. A few little lines of highlighted fur. So long his back really is quite bright for how dark the fur is. And right here too. There. Clean that dried ink off. Now there is one thing I want to, so this pink for his lip, it's looking kind of flat, and I want to get another color to put in there. So what I used was red 20, so I'm going to look for something that could be just a little bit of shadow so that there's something more to what is in here. Because his top lip should definitely be casting a bit of a shadow down on this pink part. Okay, I picked a sort of brown color. I'm gonna test it first. Maybe too dark. I'm gonna try its neighbor. Oh, that's much better. Yes, let's use this one. E11. Verily beige. It looks like barley beige, but it's spelled barely. Like bear as in naked. There. Yeah, that's better. It's just not, I didn't want it to be flat. Now this works better with the shading I've done elsewhere on the mouth. It seems to all go together. Well, it didn't take me as long as I thought. Usually these chibis take me, but maybe it's because it was a black and white one, so I didn't have to do, you know, this dog is black and white, so I didn't have to do too many other colors, so that saved time. So now I'm just going to sign this. Let's see, I'm going to sign it back here, middle. I think I'll sign it right here. There. I'm going to scan this in a bit and then mail it to my friend. Now hopefully it'll help her remember all the happy times with her puppy. That's all I had for today, so even though it's pretty early, I'm gonna call it a day. Thank you for watching.